fucking lying. I bought the game. I played it for a couple of days, and I was like, you know what? Like, this isn't fun. Like, I'm not having fun with the game. But I
After
was
30
grinding
hours, you
it.
decided you weren't
I
having
was
fun.
grinding it like super hard with some friends, and like they stopped really quickly, and I was just like, all right, I'm not having fun by myself. And I was like, hey, like I got this game, and it's not what I like. Like, I'm just not having fun. And yeah, got my refund.
I'm
All
calling
my friends are
bullshit.
like, "There's no way you're gonna get it," and I got it. So fuck
I'm
you.
calling bullshit. Z,
And
remember that
on
game we played?
that note, welcome to the Mere Nonsense Podcast.
I didn't even know we were recording today.
Yeah,
In
when did
general,
we even start?
yeah.
Yeah,
When did you
it's
get
been
my
a-
fucking consent? All right.
Coming from the guy that's always doing this to us
I haven't done it in
until he
months. What are you
couldn't.
talking about?
Until he couldn't.
Z, do you remember that game that we played for? I think we tried it for an honest 10 minutes, and then we
Was it
both
that
just
Warhammer
refunded
game?
it back to Steam. Yeah, something in
Yeah, that Left 4
Warhammer
Dead type
universe.
Yeah, the
of
one that
Warhammer
you
game.
guys kept trying to get me to play,
We
and I
were,
bought it and downloaded it,
No,
and then you
no.
guys
and
never
it
fucking
wasn't
played it.
even what.
No, not that one, Billy.
Not
Billy's
that one?
talking about 40K. Or not 40K, Vermintide.
Yeah,
Okay,
Vermintide.
Vermintide was actually good.
Vermintide's fun.
It's fun. But
Yeah,
no, that
Vermintide's
other
fun.
one, the one we're talking about is the 40K one, and it wasn't even the fact that like the gameplay was bad. I don't know. It was just the
It was
fact
a
that
broken game.
we were lost, and then we were just randomly running into the same horde every now and then because we were pretty much going in circles. We couldn't really
I'm
go
pretty
from
sure
point A
us
to
kept
point B.
getting I'm pretty sure one of us kept getting stuck too.
Yeah.
Like physically, like we couldn't move because the game was glitching that bad.
Something like that. But
It was like whatever.
it was 15 minutes or something like that.
Just being stuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically. And then we
Yeah.
just refunded it
It
immediately.
was on sale for like what? $10?
I don't even think it was
Maybe less?
$10. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Oh.
the videos that they had on the Steam page, they looked good until you actually, played it.
It looked great. And then they whatever. Whatever, man. Bye.
That was probably
Alright,
the dumbest
Billy-
tutorial ever too.
Can you explain why you have held this podcast back from not being able to
Oh,
be filmed for like
me
2 months?
holding it
You
back.
specifically?
Me specifically.
Yeah. Why have
Oh,
you
well.
dragged this podcast down?
You see, it all
Personally.
started when I got sand in my vagina.
Okay. Go
That
on.
reminds me. You guys ever So Brad was there. This was back when we were like 15, 16. It was summer vacation, and we were over our friend Anselmo's house. And
Of course, in Zelmo. Yeah.
I think we had Matt in there as well. But we were watching Family Guy, and Stewie was dressed up as a girl. And they offered
Oh.
him chocolate cake, and he was like, "No thanks, it's gonna go straight
Oh, is
down to my
that-
vagina." And like
Is that
while
the
he's saying
Mexican...
that, yeah, I think so. And while he's saying that, like next to us, and Zelmo's mom's in the kitchen cooking, we have this fucking show on blast, and he's like, "That's where the girls are worried about, right? Going down to the vagina." And we all just like look to the right. We're expecting her to say something, but she doesn't.
I mean, this is back when we were like young enough where it's just like, are we gonna get in trouble for watching a show that says the word vagina? Like that
Right.
kind of thing. But that was really funny. That was the same day we filmed. So we used to create short videos all the time, and we never posted them anywhere really. Like we may have posted a couple of them, but for whatever reason, Madden decided to upload a video called "Wet Nipples," and it was Anselmo just spraying his nipples with a fucking hose. And that thing got like
was
it was
that
like
in-
200 views, and this is like 8 years ago. It got 200 fucking views on YouTube with like we didn't have any subscribers, we didn't promote the channel, we just had that many views. So a bunch of like horny kids were like, "Ooh, what is this about?"
But didn't you have that in slow motion? So just
It started like normal speed, and then variations of slow motion and him screaming.
amazing.
So we filmed that. Then we filmed a bunch of stuff on Huja's trampoline.
Huges. Hooja.
Huja.
No,
Huja.
so I feel bad for her because her last name was it was spelled a weird way. I forgot how it was spelled, but it was pronounced gay. Her
Right.
last name was pronounced gay. So like her being at the graduation ceremony, they're just like Hooja gay. Shit, dude. I'm sure she's used to it by now, but that's
Wait, now,
a ton of middle schoolers are just like giggling and just laughing because of that.
Right.
Huja was cool though, so
Yeah,
I'm sure
she was
she
cool.
took it like a champ. But that was a day where it was like 100 degrees out, and we wanted to find, or you told us that she had a pool we could use or something, or someone, or
Trampoline.
like Enzelmo said that she had a pool, and then it turned out to be a trampoline.
Yeah, I don't remember
So-
anything about
Mix
a
up
pool.
a pool with a trampoline.
All right.
I know, because I have a thing with trampolines. I don't like trampolines, so I didn't want to go on a fucking trampoline. I've
Maybe
hurt
they
myself
just said
too
it
many
so that you would
times.
go.
Yeah,
I've
her
hurt
her
myself too many
backyard wasn't fenced, and even when she wasn't around, like a bunch of us would always just go on that trampoline and use it. Surprisingly,
Yeah,
we never
Billy-
got yelled at.
So I've had neck issues for years, Billy.
All
And
because of the trampoline.
I'm pretty sure. So we went to
Just the trampoline.
well, no, okay. So we went to a trampoline, like one of those trampoline like parks or buildings or whatever, where like
Mhm.
all the walls are trampolines, the floor is all trampoline. We went there for a dodgeball tournament, and I feel like I've said this on the podcast before, but long story short, I saw a video of a guy on a trampoline where he jumped facing a wall, like the wall was a foot away, jumped, pushed, and then tucked inward and did a front flip after pushing
Mhm.
off against the wall. So I tried that a couple times, and the first few times, like I was doing good, like I was landing on my butt, like I actually got a full twirl, but I would land on my ass. There was one time I fucked up, and I ended up pushing against the wall, jumping, and then I spiked, hit my head, basically tombstone pile drive myself onto a trampoline, and then a shock just up my neck. And
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that fucked up like one of my discs or something.
Would you do like
permanently.
full shrimp or full scorpion?
Yeah, full scorpion where I'm like this, and then my legs fold over. uh,
Goddamn kids doing these dangerous
When
activities.
it comes to stories like that, the first thing I think of, Brad, was middle school. When you come back to school after winter break and your face is all kinds of fucked up. Come to find out, it was a goddamn treadmill that did all that to you.
don't remind me. So okay,
Did you
to,
fight
to
a
top
treadmill
off
loose?
to top off my first story, my mom, like for years, so one of our friends, Austin, has a trampoline, and I played on it when I was a kid, and I went back and I told my mom, and my mom was like, never play on that again. Like she almost beat my ass because I played on a trampoline. Now I fucking know why. But
Treadmill?
so I used to be a good little Christian boy, and I went to a retreat with my church, our youth group, and being a 14-year-old kid, 13-year-old kid, whatever, I don't even think I was that old. I was like 8th grade. We went to the gym. Fucking calling me. Oh, I'm off work. Fuck you. We went to the gym, and I'm trying to remember what I was doing. I think I was on the treadmill, just running normally, and then the guy next to me turned on the treadmill, put it up to, I think it went like 12 miles an hour was the fastest,
Mhm.
and he put his hands on it and he started running really fast on there, and then I tried doing the same.
Naturally, got to assert your dominance on the treadmills.
But so mine started going up gradually, and there was a point where I'm like, oh, I can't run this fast, And also me being stupid, I wasn't wearing that little safety pin that turns off the treadmill if you fall. The treadmill was probably a foot away from the wall, so there was like 1 foot in between where you could step in between.
Mhm.
I was standing on the sides of the treadmill with the treadmill actually going still 12 miles an hour or whatever. It might have been like 16 or some shit. I don't know. I could be under exaggerating or over exaggerating, whatever. I remember going to turn it off because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. And as I leaned in to turn it off, my foot slipped on it, and I slipped on the treadmill. Treadmill shoots me backwards at 12 miles an hour. I put a hole through the wall behind me, and my face falls directly on the treadmill, and underneath my eye, I get like second degree like rug burn basically.
My God.
And combine that with like I think maybe a black eye too because I smashed my face on it and I got hit. But it was going for probably a solid like 5-6 seconds. While I was on there, so yeah, I lost a fight with the treadmill.
You know what? Gotta
Yeah,
hand it
that's
to
how you do
Brad.
it.
This is middle school, and he could have come up with the dumbest fucking story ever, but instead he goes with the real stupid story.
What am I gonna say? I lost a fight. No, you don't get this from losing a fight.
I was being dragged by the dog that I was walking.
Yeah, my
Inside.
giant poodle. that was a day.
I
There were pictures of it too. That was like emo Brad phase. So I had long hair, you know, down underneath my eyebrows, covered most of my eyes. Had a little swoosh going, you know, and
Right.
I would always wear like hoodies. So I was always up. So I'm like this little. I look like a beaten kid that looked homeless, you know.
You know that I've never gotten close to something like that around that age, but when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I had one of my uncles visit the house, and my dad wasn't there, so he was just talking to my mom at the front porch, and he left the keys in his car. I go into his car, and I'm just yelling out, "It's like, Mom, I'm gonna go, blah blah blah." I end up turning it on, putting it in reverse, and I freak out. So naturally, I jump out the door, or yeah, I jump out the door, and then the door like revolves back and like hits me. So I end up landing under the car as it's going in reverse, and it runs over my shins. And man, like the only thing I remember from that is my mom being like such an immigrant parent that she's like telling me so a little sidetrack. I had a neighbor that had these two golden retrievers, coolest dogs ever. I would always pet them whenever they were around, and like I'm crying and she's holding me, and like the neighbor runs out with the dogs and is like, yeah, the dogs were like were scratching and barking at the door, blah blah blah, so here we are. And like they're just I just remember them barking, and my mom is like, look, if you don't stop crying, those dogs will eat you. Oh man, yeah.
My God.
Immigrant parents.
So while we're on injuries, I was reminded of this recently because I don't really remember it. When I was 2 years old, y'all remember like TVs back then where they were like the big TVs, like they'd probably be like 50 inches to us now, right?
Mhm.
But they had the huge backs and they probably weighed like 100 pounds.
Got one
Um,
downstairs.
This is actually my um first memory that I can like physically remember. Because and this is when I was two. So like you guys know how like a lot of your memories from when you were a kid kind of are pieced together. This is the one that I remember as like one of my first conscious memories.
Mm-hmm.
I climb up the TV, or like I'm climbing up our entertainment center. So it's an entertainment center, probably stands maybe like a foot and a half high to where the TV sits, And then the thing was like, it was big. It was probably, taller than me now, so probably like 6 feet. Um,
So Billy.
I remember looking behind me, and there's a couch. I don't know what you just said, but fuck you.
I said so Billy because that's his height.
Yeah, okay. Yes, we're short. I get it. I remember looking at a couch of like, it was like my aunt and uncle and like my grandpa because we had family over. And I remember like starting to climb up the TV. It's like, oh, look at him climbing. He's so cute. And I started climbing on the actual TV then after the entertainment center. And I tipped the entire TV over on top of me. And that's where my memory clears out. My mom told me that they immediately took me to the ER because 100-pound metal thing with glass, whatever, falls on me. TV didn't break. We still had that TV until I was like 18. And I left with a bruised liver at 2 years old. And then my mom told me that there was one point where I woke up in the hospital bed. And again, I'm 2 years old. So woke up in the hospital, said, God damn it. Threw up all over the place and fell asleep.
2-year-olds just saying
gosh.
that.
Yep.
2-year-olds.
My parents used to swear a lot, so I guess that's where I got it from.
That
Can you
makes sense.
fucking imagine them swearing at all now, Z?
No, not at all.
No.
Especially
God, is Billy going to heaven right now? What
Yeah,
the fuck just
right?
happened? Holy shit! He's looking
I
upwards
see
and-
the light.
I'm looking at my top monitor and I opened up my fucking browser. Google is bright.
You opened up your browsers.
Yeah, my Bradzers.
Brazzers isn't that bright. There's no white backgrounds there.
Oh,
Not that
really?
you know of.
I don't pay for that shit. I don't know. That's the bright white light of OnlyFans. Billy's opening it up.
Oh yeah.
I gotta support your only feet.
You're-
Yeah, it's true. I only
Shoot.
scream.
I love
I've
how
only got like 3 injuries that I can really recall. I mean, I guess 4. I never really got hurt, but when I was 1 and 2 in 2 different stores, I got the same exact injury for the same exact reason in the same exact spot. Pretty much one was Target and I think the other one was a Sears. But I was running around in the store as, kids do, and I smacked into a square table and cut open, I believe it was my right eye. And I had to get stitches both times. And my mom was telling me they let you have anything in the store. They said you could pick out whatever you want. And the first time when it was Target, you picked out a little witch that could vibrate. And when it was Sears, we just left because we were embarrassed because it happened again. My parents were like, "What are the odds that you would be dumb enough to do it 2 times in a row in the same exact spot?"
That reminds me of 4 injuries I've had. So I have injured both of my ring fingers playing. I think one was playing football and the other was playing basketball, where the football hit my finger directly on, and it got fractured. And then same thing with the basketball. On this hand, so this was a hairline fracture, and we're pretty sure that it's never gonna fully heal properly. So it still hurts sometimes to this day, like kind of almost like arthritis. Like I'll feel it if like my hand is like, if I've been doing a lot with my hand, like if I've been playing games or if I've been whatever jerking off too much.
Yeah,
But
the usual.
I'll still feel it like in the bone, and then but then that also reminds me. So that's both of my ring fingers. Again, this shit happens at my church. I walked outside one day, and there was just a bee. As I walked outside, there were bees flying around, and one stung me on the inside here again, right? Same fucking spot that I fractured. I got a bee sting here. A year later, I walk outside of my church again, and I get stung on this hand and the same spot on my ring finger. I don't
What
get
are the
it.
odds?
Right.
That's like the fucking those videos you see where it's like, if I had a nickel for name an event that happened, I'd have two nickels.
It's
And
just
that's
weird
not a
that that
lot, but
happens.
it's weird that would happen twice, don't you think?
That's a Phineas and Ferb audio, I think.
Yeah, Doofenshmirtz.
Doofenshmirtz.
What a great show.
Never actually watched a full episode.
I fucking loved it.
Such a great show. And then the fact that Bowling for Soup made the opening song for it too.
Yeah.
Bowling for Soup made their intro?
Yep. I actually
know
saw
that.
them at Warp Tour, and they played the song. So naturally,
That's cool.
sang along, danced around. You know, it's weird going. It's weird going to Warp Tour now.
Why? Because you're gonna get COVID?
No. Yes. But like I'm not even 30 yet, but it just feels weird because there's such a huge gap of like age difference of people that go there. I've
Mhm.
seen people that look like they're in their early 20s, late teens. And then I've seen people that are like looking like they're in their 30s.
And you picture yourself being that kid, seeing that guy at Warp Tour.
Yeah.
That's how I feel, like thinking about stuff like that. Where it's just like, damn, like even though like this is still my interest, I picture like how would I have felt as that kid seeing that adult at their like, you know,
Right.
you're like, man, this is for teenagers. Like, what's this fucking boomer doing there?
I
Is it though
actually
when they're
had
playing new or old bands?
no. It just actually yes, only for Simple Plan because Simple Plan was there. When I saw Simple Plan and I looked at the crowd around me, like that's when I noticed the huge age difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a good moment listening to Mayday Parade there because there were people that looked like they were younger than me, and one of them just randomly turns to me and says, "Dad," and I just went along with it. I'm like, "Son." I mean, like his friend group and the couple people that I went just vibed the rest of the show after that. But yeah,
And to go take care of your son.
it just felt weird because like I always wanted to go to Warp Tour when I was in high school, and I never did. I didn't go until like I think I was like 20, and I've only been there twice. It was when I was 20, and then I think I was like 23, 24. But
Never even been.
Kara used to go to Couch Tour all the time.
oh, Couch Tour was awesome. I mean, like it was free, so
Right.
you didn't have to worry about it. It was like outside of a mall, and there were always two bands, and they were good bands
Usually-
too.
I would say usually pretty popular bands.
Yeah,
At the time.
I think the best one that I went to, we were like 17, 16, and they had Forever the Sickest Kids and We Came as Romans.
Yep.
And at the time, I really liked those two bands. So, I mean, Couch Tour was just awesome for that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, wasn't too big into going to concerts all the time, but I'm also again, I'm a fucking boomer. I have like sensitive ass hearing, so I don't
Yeah, I
like
was
going
gonna
to
say
concerts.
it doesn't help that like it hurts you after a while.
Like even this right now is bugging my fucking ears. Like that's how much of a boomer I am.
Wake up the next
Uh,
morning and your ears are still ringing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna have
Oh, there
hearing aids
was
when I'm
during-
like 40.
During like peak unemployment for me, when I was like gaming every day with you guys and just
The good old
non
times.
being
Oh, yeah, I
being on
remember
my
you had
head.
to take breaks because you were just on it all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would have to take breaks specifically for my ears because I would have like I would get what's it called, tinnitus. Like so I have tinnitus like constantly, but it's really dull and then sometimes it goes away. But there were days where I would just loud ringing and it just would never go. But
You ever think about just getting your ears removed?
as I'm an old man, you know, so
Yeah,
same
no.
same vein but completely different thing at the same time. I've been considering LASIK.
Dude, same.
Like
I wouldn't
I don't
know.
like wearing glasses. Oh, also, so
Those are some thick fucking glasses.
this broke off. No, they're not.
Those are
Not
some
that
thick fucking glasses.
No, my vision without my glasses is honestly like it's okay.
They just don't wear them.
So stigmatism or astigmatism um is if you don't wear glasses when you have an astigmatism, it gives you a headache because you're basically seeing it two different visions.
It wouldn't
a
give
one-eye
it didn't
fix.
give me a headache, but I did once I started using glasses. Stigmatism got worse, and like
Yeah.
it started
Yeah.
off in one eye, and now it's on both eyes, for me. So I'm at the point now where I can't see without my glasses.
Can't jeekers.
I'm sure. So like, if I were to take off my glasses now and I were to try to like read something from far away, I probably wouldn't be able to. You give me like a day of not wearing glasses, I'm sure my vision would like kind of revert a little bit. But your eyes do get worse once you start wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they
But-
get used to the tool.
Mm-hmm.
See, do Brad's glasses look a little crooked to you now?
They are. So
Okay.
so they're lopsided, and this is before this even broke off. So this one's broken on this side, and they're already lopsided. Fucking annoying.
Doing rubber band tricks over there?
Huh?
Rubber band tricks?
Rubber
This is
band
what I do.
tricks. Do you?
I
Did you
I
ever?
fidget when I'm not. When I don't have more than one fucking thing to do, I have to be doing something with my hands.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Did Billy at your school growing up? Did you ever have that where like people would randomly go up to their friends or whatever with rubber band and just like
Just
fucking smack the
slap
shit
you
out
all
of
the
them?
fucking time. We had that, and then we had, as soon as you would walk into a classroom, someone would fucking, with the little, I don't even know what you would call them, the little paper bee stings or whatever, the folded up papers, and they just fucking
Oh yeah, we used to
okay.
pinch people to
Yep.
Oh yeah.
snake
Uh,
bites.
call the steak bites. What did
Titty
we used to do?
twisters.
Z, where I mean that's just a fucking awesome.
Having a dick and twist.
There's something you would do where you would like you'd make them flinch and then you get to punch them twice or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we
Yeah,
just
pretty
said
much just
major
check 'em.
flinch.
Check, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you just
yeah.
check them. I don't remember that like being a big thing. At least with the people that I was hanging out with at the time. But what we would usually do for lunch is we would play bloody knuckles with quarters.
Yep.
So like you would put your fist on the table and the
And
other
then you
person would flick the quarter into your knuckles.
Yep.
I was so fucking good. I still have scars on my hands from that shit. I was so good at that shit though. Yeah, I was always so we used to play two different ways. One, it's first to bleed, you're out, and then the other one would be whoever would give up. So there were a couple guys that I'd play with all the time, and sometimes like we wouldn't give up, and we would just get super bloody, and it got to
Yeah.
the point where in middle school they had to monitor us and make sure that
I
we weren't
remember that.
playing anymore.
Yeah,
Also, we
'cause-
did a game where you would slap each other's hands back and forth,
Yeah.
Yep.
and that's another thing, like first to give up. And there were these, I feel like I talked about this on the podcast before, but two giant guys that like for middle schoolers, like they were both already
Yeah,
like 6
they
feet
look
tall,
like they look like they
they're
could be
built.
high school seniors.
And these guys would every day meet up with each other in between classes at lunch, whatever, and they would start going at it back and forth until they had to leave. Like basically call it a draw and then leave, and they did that for like an
Yeah.
entire year.
I had 3 friends actually.
But you had friends?
So it was
Miguel-
Michael, and Jeremy.
Jeremy Smith.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember Miguel and Mike.
So Jeremy, I probably had like the most memories with him because I actually did hang out with him after school. But he used to be in a garage band in high school, and he ends up having like band practice in his basement, and me and Brad go over there, and Gerald is there. A few other people are there, and we all just like start like having these wrestling matches. But Brad gets like the worst situation out of everyone. Like it could not have gone worse for him.
So this is speaking of injuries again. So Gerald and I would say Gerald was a little bit heavier than me, but we were roughly same size. So Gerald and I were wrestling, and we were doing, it was like submission matches, and there was a point where we're kind of close to a wall. Like the wall's maybe like a foot behind me, maybe 2 feet behind me, but I'm basically Gerald is on top of me, but I'm in guard. So he's trying to, do whatever, but I'm in a good position where he's not going to pin me down. Mike, no, yeah, Michael Ramirez
Yep.
pulls my legs because according to him, we're getting too close to the wall, and within me being pulled, Gerald takes my arm, jumps up in midair, twists my arm, and drops it into a flying arm bar, which pops my elbow out of place. And I'm just laying there for, I'd say, it felt like 10 minutes, but it was probably just like 5. But I'm laying there like dying, I'm in a lot of fucking pain. And then it got to the point where I was eventually able to like pop it back into place. But holy shit. And that, again, that's another injury where I think I don't have any like cartilage here or anything anymore because I still get pain from that.
Isn't that like the whole thing with those joints that have cartilage in them is as they get damaged over time, like they don't regrow the cartilage.
Yeah, so you don't get cartilage back. So what it is the bones are just rubbing against each other.
And isn't like the treatment for it, they literally just take a bone and just fucking shave out a little indent.
Something like that. And then I guess that brings me to I think my last injury that I really remember. It was baseball. I was going to steal second base. I went to slide into second base. I was one of the guys that would slide with my feet, and usually I would have like one knee bent in and my other leg out. It happened too quickly for me to remember how my legs were positioned, but the only way that would make sense to me is my left leg was going in as I collided with the second baseman, and he popped my knee out of socket then too. That I didn't put back into place for at least a day. I eventually was able to pop it back into place, but that is another similar, like, I still get cracking in my knee and it still hurts. So, and that one was that was 8th grade from what I remember with that one. No, not 8th grade. When's my last year of baseball? Probably freshman year, actually. I think that was my last year of baseball.
You played freshman year?
Not at school. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
I do remember you like
year,
going over to your house and you just randomly throwing balls at the shed.
Yeah. My 8th grade year was that was the year that I was in the championships where we got second place. That was a bullshit one because I remember we were on the Red Sox. That was my team. And we had a good season from what I remember. Like I was never a good baseball player, but I remember us as a team having a good season. And they were like, okay, guys, it's the last game of the season, whatever, just go out there, have fun. We played, we lost. I think we lost by like a run, maybe 2 runs. Like it was a close game. Coaches were then like, hey, by the way, that was a championship game. We didn't want to put any pressure on you guys. We just wanted you to have fun. I probably would have tried a little bit harder if I knew it was the fucking championship game, you dicks. I get this goddamn participation trophy.
Nobody remembers second place.
Yeah, right.
And then actually that might have been the last year because that might have been the year I got injured because I used to be really fast, and ever since then, like I never really like it healed, it fully healed, but I just never really ran much after that, and I turned into an old man. I ran a lot for volleyball still, but not like racing anybody though.
Yeah, it was weird seeing how strong your legs were compared to the rest of your body.
Yeah.
Cuz like he could pump out on the leg press like a good 200 pounds easily.
I did 350 at one. I remember. I don't think
All
I ever got up.
45 stacked.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got up to 4s, but I maxed out the machine that we had at the in our weight room, and I think that maxed out around 350 in high school.
Was it one of those like old school ones where you had to put the plates on and then you would
Yeah,
push it
so
up
we,
a little bit, throw the bars, and then you.
yeah, it was one of those where so we ran out of space on the bar for me to be able.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I would do too. See, by think junior year.
See, now, yeah, I could do that. That's the dumbest fucking thing you could do. Because I didn't have proper form. If
Nope.
you're doing that and your legs lock and you lose, that is shooting back on you and your kneecaps are flying
You ever
out of
see
your
those
skin.
videos?
Yeah.
Where it's just
That's,
like fucking.
oh my god, just fucking bends the shit out of those people.
I am so fucking lucky I haven't had more injuries like that.
Yeah, with the amount you've already had.
I've never had a serious injury before, though. Like, I could have had many serious injuries. Like, my
can see
worst
the
injury is I fought a treadmill, and the treadmill suplexed me across the room. Like, I would say the most painful injury I had was the Gerald armbar. But even then, like, that was just a socket, you know. The only like these were fractures, not even breaks.
Yeah.
Billy, this is off topic, but I feel like you, out of all three of us, would have gotten into fights in school.
He's got a very punchable face. That makes sense.
Say I got punched once, and that like in high school, that was it. And then in middle school, I got in trouble for punching a kid because he punched my friend, so I punched him.
Nice. Yeah.
There was
That was it. Didn't really
I
fight
don't know.
much.
I don't know if you remember him, Z, but it was this dude that Tabby used to date. Some tall black dude that he was like a year or two younger than us. He tried fighting me one day, and I was a bit of a punk, but I wasn't the type to like get into fights. So he punched me, and I don't know what I did, but he punched me. But then he went for my legs because he was going to try to take me to the ground. But then I choked him out. And once he realized that I was doing that, he was like, okay, I'm done. Because I like, this is the point where, like, everyone just knows fist fighting. And I was just like, this makes sense. I'm going to grab you by the neck. Like,
was that around the time we were like trying to like
kinda
learn,
but not like that wasn't like a I'm purposely trying to choke this guy out thing. It was like
it was just like,
he has me here, his head's right here, I'm just gonna grab his neck.
Yeah.
And I don't think I made him tap, but I think he got scared because he was like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna fuck around with that. Like he doesn't want to fight like that. Like a lot of people in our high school were like, hey, box, you know.
Yeah.
Like they just want to throw hands, but like you start throwing some legs in there, someone's gonna go, okay, never mind.
Yeah, that was always hilarious. Like you would see some fights, and as soon as a kick is thrown, everyone's like, "No, stop it, stop it, Ron."
Like, no, fight like a real man. Like, no, I'm gonna fight the way I fucking want. If you're gonna try to hurt me, but I don't know.
Well, I think it was freshman year. We tried to like sort of kind of train in our own way of like watching YouTube videos of mixed martial arts, right?
We watched a little movie called Never Back Down.
Oh yeah, there we
way
go.
too many times.
Way too many times. And we were actually trying to like replicate almost all the moves from that movie. So for anyone that has actually seen the movie, there's a moment, I think, yeah, it's at the last fight, where the dude finally like gets his shit together and he goes in for a takedown. You know, you're supposed to like sweep the legs and then like sort of lift him up, you know, use his weight against him and take him down, right? We didn't have any mats on a concrete floor in the basement, so we had a spare mattress that I took out, right? And Brad was the first one to try it out on me. he goes for the tight takedown, and instantly his shoulder meets my nuts.
Shut.
It was horrible. It was definitely one of the worst things we tried, but we constantly tried to do stuff like that throughout high
And
school.
then we
Or-
tried to do, so we were trying to figure out submissions and what hurt the most. And like we were trying arm bars. Arm bars hurt, but I don't think we were doing them right at the time.
Yeah.
But so that's when I learned, this was before the fight with Gerald. I learned that if you have, so an arm bar, if you know what I'm talking about, Billy, you lay your arm, the other person's arm across your body, and you're like basically like trying to bend it in a way that's not supposed to bend. But I
Yeah.
learned that, so you hold it like this. I learned that if you grab it, put it under your arm, and then lift up even more. Again, I could have probably broken someone's arm if I actually tried it, but like that, we found out that hurt a lot. But then we were like, huh, we see this this WWE move called the Walls of Jericho. I wonder how bad this hurts. I tried it on Z, and Z's like, this doesn't hurt at all. And then he does it to me, and I'm like, this is like stretching my back.
Yeah.
So then we're like watching WWE, and I was like, I mean, like again, we both knew that like
We
it
knew
was-
it was fake, but we didn't know the submissions, like what submissions were like.
what actually hurt. Or,
Yeah.
you know, so I assumed the Walls of Jericho hurt at least a bit, but no, not at all. If you're flexible enough, like that shit doesn't hurt at all.
Right. But the one that I did take away from, it wasn't even from WWE, it was going back to Never Back Down, was triangle choke. And I fucking love doing that. Like the triangle choke I was probably doing it wrong too, but
Legit.
yeah, that
My,
was my go-to.
My uncles and I, so I have an uncle that was in the Marine Corps, and then my youngest uncle and they were fascinated with UFC. I was about a sophomore in high school, so I was in my wrestling career still. And they're like, "Hey, like, you want to spar with us? You want to learn some UFC stuff?" And David the Marine would kind of like watch us because he had, Marine combatives and all that shit. So he would be like, "All right, like this is what you're gonna do. Here's how you're gonna do it," and would coach us. And me and my other uncle would just try it out on each other. And there was one time where we actually got to the point where we were just doing like full spars, like tapping the hands, and then we wouldn't like punch, but we would just try to submit each other. And my younger uncle was super upset because I would never tap to him. Like, he would put me in any choke, triangle, rear naked choke, whatever, and I just wouldn't tap. But as soon as the Marine uncle would, like, I'd be tapping for my life. So me and my younger uncle had like a no tapping, like, you're gonna get choked out and you're gonna pass out, and that's the submission. And that was the first time I was ever choked out and passed out, and I woke up like, who the fuck?
Do you remember being choked out, Z?
Oh yeah, I remember that because I want to know what it felt like. So
Yeah.
we had so Brad was over, and then Gerald was over, and our friend Emilio was over. So Emilio, for some reason, like he just knew these types of defense moves, and he knew like exactly how to do them. And one day they're over, I'm like, dude, I want to try it out. I want to see what it feels like. So actually, like, choke me out, puts me in a sleeper hold, and I'm actually like at one point I'm actually tapping, but I guess he didn't realize that I was tapping, and I kind of black out. I remember like a thump, like kind of just like landing on my knees or something like that. And then I wake up, I'm like, whoa, that was fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, from our point of view, it was just you. I didn't see a tap, but you passing out, like your eyes basically rolled back, and you kind of like slump down, and then Emilio lets go, and then within like 2 seconds you're already up, getting your breath back really quickly, and then you like looking around panicked, like what the fuck just happened.
It was actually a weird but kind of interesting feeling.
So would you let a girl choke you out in bed?
Fuck
think
yeah,
that was
dude!
a
As long
kink
as I don't
unlock.
die.
All right,
Kink
that,
unlocked.
right? You just get a little like kink unlocked achievement thing.
Okay, you know what's weird
Um,
though? Like after seeing these fucking movies, I wouldn't ever let a girl tie me up on a bed
No. Not tie up. Just
or like handcuff me. That's
hey,
like.
man.
Have you
You
guys
can't
seen?
let them restrain you.
Have you guys seen Basic Instinct?
no.
They have.
It's an older movie. I think it's a '90s movie. I'm not sure, but pretty sure you guys remember or have heard of the interrogation scene where this chick not wearing panties, wearing a white dress, she's being interrogated while like smoking, and then she kind of like moves her legs out the way, and everyone that's interrogating her can see underneath the dress, and she's not wearing any panties. You guys never heard of that? No.
No.
Please, more
So
detail.
she's a serial killer in that movie, and at one point, she ends up having sex with this guy, has him handcuffed to the bed, and in the middle of it, she brings out like a screwdriver or like an ice pick or something, just starts stabbing away at the guy. Turns out that movie ends up becoming like a future serial killer's favorite movie, and tries to reenact the scene.
Say I've heard of that scene before, but I don't remember it from a movie.
Um, so spoilers if anyone actually cared about watching. There's a Netflix documentary called "Don't Fuck with Cats," and it's about this guy. He posts, I think he posts two or three videos. But his first video was him back when like the internet was like the Wild West, pretty much in the early 2000s.
Numa, yeah.
What?
Numa.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
So he ends up putting these two kittens in a bag and sucks out all the air and suffocating them in the bag, and that was the video. So these people like create a Facebook group or like whatever, MySpace or whatever. They're just trying to find whatever details they can from these videos and try to find this guy. Later on, he ends up making an actual murder video where he has a guy tied up to the bed, and he ends up stabbing him multiple times with an ice pick. And then later on, you just end up finding out that this guy, like, he was pretty much making an homage to that Basic Instinct movie. And, like, they end up finding him in the dumbest way possible because this guy is such a narcissistic bastard that he will literally... He got away from the police in Canada, made it to France, but he got caught because he couldn't stop looking himself up. So...
Because he was curious about what people were saying about him. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but that was pretty crazy to find out. Like when they connected the dots, he was pretty much just in love with these types of murder movies like that and American Psycho.
So I'd like to take this time to shout out our sponsor, the movie Open House. I have to mention it every podcast legally. You know, do you think that in Open House 2, do you think in Open House 2 they're gonna have a scene like that?
Are they making Open House 2?
They're supposed to.
Say last we saw they were.
Is there
Well, because
a release date?
that was like the thing, I guess. It was supposed to be a cliffhanger of like who the fuck was that, because they're gonna make a second one.
I don't know, man.
And then I also have to make it a point to talk about how bad what's that movie called? Malignant was? Yeah, fuck Malignant.
Malignant.
I don't care if we haven't done this in 2 or 3 months.
Maligma?
I gotta mention both. Maligma what?
Maligma?
Um,
I love how as soon as Billy got a whole new mic, we just never got the chance to use it up until now.
I know.
Yeah,
It was like, because it
that out.
was.
Now you actually kind of look like a podcaster.
Right?
What was it though? It was like we canceled 1 week.
We canceled a couple weeks because of tech issues.
Yeah.
Um,
And
then it just kind of jumbled into a couple more tech issues. We had one podcast where things went well, and then we had another week where
Stuff got corrupted.
the video cut out,
yeah.
and then
it,
Z
like,
took
got-
over.
Yeah.
We had a couple weeks of Z taking over, like I think it was just 1 week of Z taking over, and then Z got his new job,
Yeah.
which he had to change his sleep schedule for. And then now it's just been pure fucking laziness for all of us,
Pretty much.
and work schedules. But
yeah. But
Z never wants to jump in with us.
I agree. Fuck that Z guy.
what? How dare you, Billy, of all people?
How dare you?
I
also
ask you,
haven't
what
had
are
a
you
drink
doing?
of-
You're like, I am doing my war day. Yeah.
Well,
With
yeah, because you
whatever
asked me on fucking
dumb war
Saturdays
game
and Tuesdays
you're
when it's TW. for
Because I
Conqueror's
only have
Blade.
Saturdays and
That
Sundays off.
sounds like a fucking you problem.
Who puts TWs on a Tuesday?
Imagine working
Tuesdays and
Thursday through
Saturdays.
Sunday.
Yeah, no, it couldn't be me.
Right? Kind of loser has that schedule.
So, I work Monday to Friday, and one of my coworkers, the only other developer, is like moved to part time now because he's working for Boeing. So my plate got
I-
full.
I too work for Boeing.
Are you actually doing work this time, Billy?
Yeah, all kinds of work.
Oh yeah,
Banging my
You're
head
just
against mobile
copying and
development.
pasting a bunch of.
No, not even. I can't even get this fucking thing to
No.
build.
Billy takes in calls that go, "Hey, my mic's not working," or "Hey, my video's not working." "Hey, I can't find my mouse on my screen. Help me." And that's what he does because he's IT. That's it.
I'm actually the PR person for your favorite OnlyFans creator.
Have you tried actually signing in?
Have you
That's
tried turning it
the
off
first
and turning it
question.
back on?
Oh, I am turned on.
Have you
No,
tried not
no.
being a
Turning on your
fucking idiot?
PC. Yeah, I am turned on.
Oh, I'm turned on. Yeah. Look at me, I'm rock hard right now.
Turns
fucking
on
idiot.
camera. No.
Billy has to get on a Zoom call with every single
Me
person he
too.
helps out. And it's just like how Omegle is now, where every single video is just some dude jerking
God.
off.
Dick out.
Yeah.
Have you seen the videos where it's like Kermit the Frog and there's a couple different ones. One of my favorites is like there's a girl, she's like, "Oh my god, Kermit, I love you."
Oh,
And he's
pulls out
like,
a cucumber.
"Oh yeah," and then she's like, "Yeah, you're my favorite." And he's like, and he pulls out the cucumber, and she's like, "Why'd you do that?" He's like,
Why did
she's
you?
like, "Because you love me." He's like, "Yeah, not your dick."
I can't believe you've done this.
I'm going to commit suicide.
No,
How could Omegle?
I've only ever really seen those. I think it was like, yeah, just two different videos. It's either people playing music or, penis.
Or jerking off, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's people playing music and then the other people are jerking off.
Yeah.
I like watching the do.
Yeah, the do.
So it's actually one of my guilty pleasures on YouTube is watching people react to music for some reason. Like I just like seeing people's genuine reactions to music for the first time. And one of the guys I watch reacted to the do for the first time, and I'm like, this is like both of my guilty pleasures combined. I love this.
My guiltiest of guilty pleasures.
Right. The dude's great though. I like he's funny, but he also like fucking shreds the guitar. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even.
Yeah,
know the
he. I love his
You don't know who
videos
the do
where
is?
guy. I don't know the do.
you don't know the do.
I do the do.
Do you know
The Muffin Man.
who does he play with?
The
He,
little jerk.
he actually
Nasty.
so
Grizzy,
He did,
McNasty, and all them.
Z he did a lot of Omegle shit, but he also like would play music over Rainbow Six.
Yeah, lots of Rainbow Six.
Yeah, he's a big Rainbow Six
That's how I
streamer.
first saw him
Rainbow
was
Six.
through Rainbow Six,
Like the podcast.
and then I started seeing his Hello Kitty guitar
I love
Uh,
that. Where he's like, yeah, I asked my parents for this for Christmas, and
He's like, I'm not
this is what they got me.
I'm pretty bad at it, so don't judge me. And then he just absolutely fucking shreds the
Well, he'll
song.
go into like, here, let me teach you one of the 2 songs I know, and it's like Twinkle Twinkle Lit, and then the other one would be like Through the Fire and the Flames. I like
On the Hello Kitty.
he's really fucking
On a
talented.
Hello Kitty
So
guitar.
he one of the cool things he does is he has a soundboard that is attached to his guitar, so he can make rhythms. And what he'll do is if he doesn't know a song, or if he hasn't heard it before, he'll listen to it, and then like within a minute he makes the song himself on the guitar, and he'll use like the soundboard to like create the bass line, create the guitar, and then or whatever, and then do the rest. It's so fucking sick. The dude's dope. You should look him up.
Yeah, you really should.
Probably won't do it.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, that's a no for me, dog.
Look, man, when I want to say 98% of the time someone like refers me to like something that they like, I most likely won't look it up until I stumble into it.
Until you watch 800 episodes of One Piece.
I did.
Actually, hold on. How many episodes of One Piece are you into right now?
I am on 815, I think.
You've watched 815 episodes of One Piece since the last podcast.
Something like that, yeah.
You did not start watching that until after the last podcast episode.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like
well-
screw those jokes of people that are like, oh yeah, I'll see you next year. Like no,
Watch
he's
like
gonna be like,
60.
hey, I'm actually gonna see you next year after I'm done watching all of One Piece.
Dude, it's been a wild fucking ride. I mean, I took 2 breaks from it really just to watch other animes, but for the most
all
part,
of Demon Slayer season 2 just in between.
well, Demon
still
Slayer is
haven't
only
seen
like
that
they're only
either.
up on 7 episodes right now for season 2.
It's still going through. Yeah.
But I was watching, I think it was Goblin Slayer. Pretty sure that
Goblin
was that.
Slayer's a good one.
But yeah, dude, fuck, man. Like it, but even after 800 episodes, my all-time favorite moment that I just constantly go back to, just because that's the moment that got me so fucking hooked into it, was like the first time I see Luffy like fuck shit up at Water 7, at the Water 7 arc, which is like 200 something episodes in.
Like when he's fighting Rob Lucci, or
Yes,
before that?
yes, yeah, when he's fighting Rob Lucci, because like after that fight, I was just like, okay, I have to watch the rest of it because I'm just that fucking hooked. And even though they've had like insane bigger moments than that, that was definitely the moment, and will always be the moment that I like fondly look back at, is Water 7. Water 7 is just fucking amazing.
Yeah. I've got a couple of those moments from early on that like I just look back on so fondly of. Like I know it's well, it's still pre-time skip, I guess. So Luffy punching the Celestial Dragon. The
Yeah,
whole like black and white sequence is so cool.
that was cool.
It's so good. One Piece is an adventure, man, and they're in Wano right now, and I read, so I'm fully caught up. But like this week's chapter flipped everything on its fucking head again, where we got just a huge like story or a huge plot like just thrown in front of us. It's so good.
Nice.
It's
Now we're just waiting
good.
on Billy to catch up.
Yeah, good luck.
Billy's
Yeah,
actually
Billy's-
gonna take his time.
Billy's working too much. I mean, I don't expect Billy to continue watching. If he liked
just-
it, he would have been hooked by now.
I mean, I
Nah.
just like I haven't had time to watch anything in general, you know? Like that's how busy I've actually been. I've spent a whole week learning my other coworker's job, because him and I, even though we did the same, like had the same title, we did pretty much 2 different things. And
Billy works with C++.
Yes.
That
No,
guy
I
worked
work with
with
Java.
C minus minus.
I work with Java. He worked. I mean, we both worked with Java. It was just his was more mobile development, and mine was, report development, but then in SQL and database management. But and then we also both kind of did just regular, Java development,
You're right.
and it was it was a lot, but um, we were finally able to get everything over to me so that I could do his job as best as I fucking could, and it is a pain in the ass, like just an absolute pain.
Yeah, work got pretty annoying for me too. So like it was to the point where I didn't want to get on video games and get even more annoyed. So that's what like made me just even more deep diving into One Piece.
Mm.
That was just I would watch. I would probably go like 2 3 hours into watching One Piece and be like, I'm surprised I haven't played video games. I would jump on for like a match or two on Apex or something and be like, yeah, I don't want to play video games. So I just go back to watching anime.
Right.
But yeah, I was like that for a good minute. I just didn't want to play video games.
I'm still stuck in a video game rut where I have a lot of games I want to play, but I have such a problem with like taking my time off and enjoying my time off.
Right.
Where, man, I wanna do this video game, this video game, I wanna watch this movie, whatever, and I get overloaded, so I don't do any of it.
But the
And I
and
get
then
like
that's
that,
the
and then
worst part because it's like the good and the bad is video games now are super long, and that's good, but it's
they're
also bad because you're just trying to like put in maybe an hour or two and enjoy the fuck out of it. But sometimes you just can't.
the perfect game I actually played recently was uh, Paper Mario. So Paper Mario I played on the Nintendo 64 when I was little, but it came out on the Switch because Switch is doing the backwards compatible stuff now. Um, that was perfect because I would get done with work. So I get done with work about 9 o'clock, and I'm usually tired around like 11. So what I'll do is or when I had Paper Mario, is I'd play one chapter of Paper Mario, which was about an hour, maybe hour and a half, and there were like 8 chapters. So for like the next 8 days, I played that and that only, and that was actually super enjoyable. Um, my problem now, and this really happened, I think, because of quarantine. I become such a sweat in video games where I want to be good at all the games I'm playing. So like if I'm
Mm.
playing Apex and I'm not winning, I'm not having fun. Same with Siege, if I'm not winning, like I'm actually enjoying Siege and Apex a little bit more now again because I've taken a back seat and I've just been enjoying playing with my friends instead of playing to win. Obviously, I still want to win, but you
Right.
know, but during quarantine, I just got built up so much where it's just like we would play all these sweaty ass games so often that I had to be good at games, and I get frustrated when I wasn't doing well, or
Right.
when we're playing with people who aren't that great at the game, I'd get frustrated with them. That's bad. I shouldn't be like that, but sometimes it is. Uh,
Right.
got to the point where I told Greg that I will not play Siege with him because that is the one game that I get so angry at that I don't want Greg to see that, and I don't want to have to deal with Greg in that game. I'll play any other game with him, even if he's bad at the game. I don't care. Greg is my friend. I'll play games with him. But Siege is the one game where it's like I'm not gonna play with new people
my
because
problem
it's so
now
frustrating.
My problem now is just I've always been okay with having one game and just playing that game only. And that was at first it was all the Gears of War games growing up. And then it was like a pretty good gap between that and Siege until I finally, jumped on Siege after like it's been out for a few months, and that was my game for like the longest time. And now that I'm like pretty much burnt out from that game, yeah, I'm playing a good amount of Apex now, but it's not the game for me at least to like have me enjoying it for the most
Hmm.
part.
What sucks with me and Apex is Apex was the game for me for a while. I got really excited when you started playing, but you started playing I think I had about 200 hours on it on Origin, and then now I have about 500 hours on Steam. So before you even started playing, I had about 400 hours total in it. Then you start playing, and then it's the game for me that was like kind of on my way out of this. Now again, I'm playing again recently, and I'm enjoying myself a little bit more, but I'm just kind of burnt out from that game. Siege was the same way, but the problem with Siege, and I think you share this, is we never had a 5 stack.
Yeah.
So if we play with our normal 3 stack and we have 2 shitty randos, we lose a lot. We get frustrated. We don't want to play anymore. If we had a solid 5 stack that, even if we're having bad games, we could probably still have fun with. But we never actually got that 5 stack.
We had a solid 5 stack when we were all on PlayStation.
For a little bit, yeah. Yeah, we did. I mean, but that was when Siege was still relatively new. Like whenever a
Game
game
was a
is
lot simpler back then.
yeah, whenever a game is like new within like the first year or two. This was back before games had a longer lifespan than 2 years. So you would almost always see like the peak of the video game by like the end of year one or something like that, or in the middle of it. Who knows? But yeah, that was when we actually did have a good amount of people on PlayStation. It was because of that, because it was still relatively new. And now this game is like what, 6? It's going on its 7th year now. Yeah, it's just
The last time I genuinely enjoyed a game and was excited to play it every day was Modern Warfare, the 2019 version, before Warzone, because we would get on it and
Yep.
we would have a solid 5 stack, and we would play Cyber Attack, and that was so much fucking
Yep.
like we were good, we were winning the majority of our games, but it was us communicating and and doing that, but then also having fun at the same time where we could dick around. Like if we're playing against a shitty team, we'd be assholes and we'd fuck around with them, but
Right.
actually getting sweaty and winning the majority of our games was also super fun too.
I think that's
Right.
also a big issue when it comes to like battle royales. Is like you're not going to be winning the majority. You're going to be losing the majority of the time.
Yeah.
And that kind of just like, you know, tugs on your emotions if you're like a tryhard, or you just want to see more than less than a handful of wins. Like you just want to see more than.
Yep.
How long did we play Warzone before we got steady enough to win like one game a night?
Right.
Like there were days where we'd win 4, 5, 6 games, but then there was like months before we'd even win our first game, and then there was months in between where we would only win one game every few weeks.
It all changed. It all went downhill once they implemented Cold War weapons on there.
I'd say even before that, but Cold War was the biggest shift, and then now Vanguard with Caldera is just
Because like metas before Cold War, the metas were pretty
doof.
like
Doof.
they were annoying. They were annoying, but it wasn't as annoying as like you literally can't do anything about it. Like when the DMR was a meta, or when I think it's called the F2 in there, but the FAMAS was a meta as well. Like there's no winning against it unless you're the first shot and you connect them all.
There was another issue where I think Modern Warfare had the issue of overpowered guns. When Cold War took over, there was too much to balance with them, but the new metas ended up becoming glitches and exploits. Where Modern Warfare, it was more so the weapons and all that. Now then it turned into people start, like, I guess Modern Warfare had like the Juggernaut glitches and stuff like that, but then how many glitches did Cold War bring with like this is a bad example because I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I just remember how many times of like infinite stim glitches and all these other things once Warzone dropped.
And they just kept coming back too.
Yeah, and then gun exploits like I guess the DMR was made like that, so, but still, like the fact that I have a sniper, and if I'm peeking you with my sniper and you tap me twice before my bullet comes out of the chamber, I'm dead. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
That was so dumb. That's when I really started hating Warzone, was when the DMR was a thing, because that was the first time where I had a gun that I didn't have leveled up, and I was at a severe disadvantage because I didn't have that one gun level.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the doof doof or anything when it was
Billy was
popular.
actually doing the doof doof before it became the doof doof.
Yeah,
Um,
because Billy's a dick, but
Billy didn't use the doof doof first though. Z used the doof doof first.
because the incendiary grenades, ammo was new. It was not on there
Yep.
right away, and I started using it in Modern Warfare multiplayer, but I
Yeah.
never really used it in Warzone. Um, yeah, that gun was a lot of fun, but no, yeah, Warzone just made me hate playing
video games
video games. Yeah,
in
because it's like
general.
that's where the majority of FPS games are going. It's
That's
just
right.
battle
That's where
royale.
everyone's at.
Like, and I get it; it's fun
I
and
don't
all.
agree with that now. I think that that's where they did go for a little while, but I think games are already going back to focusing on their main multiplayer. Look at Halo and Battlefield. Neither of them launched. I mean, Battlefield's a bad example because Battlefield sucks,
Yeah, but
but
Halo's pretty good. Um,
yeah,
I was never big on Halo, but playing multiplayer and not playing a battle royale is like, I don't know, breath of fresh air, and it's just
I
Right.
my problem is I like battle royales in general because I like the um having to build yourself up and become better than everyone else, but not Warzone. Warzone is wait until your loadout, get your loadout, then you have the perfect gun. I like so we've been playing Super People and we've been playing we played a very small bit of PUBG recently. Um, but those are find a gun and then start piecing that gun together as the game goes. And then the idea is by the end of that circle, you're going to have a really good gun, but the other people are going to have a really good gun too. So I like the idea of that. I like the idea of out surviving people, but I also like having a healthy balance of that and an arena shooter like Halo, where I can have fun with both. My
Mhm.
problem is no one plays Halo until recently with me, so I don't like playing Halo by myself.
yeah, I'm a guy that comes from being a really big objective based like FPS gamer. So especially like Siege, like that's objective based. Yeah, you have your rounds and stuff where it just almost turns out to be like a team deathmatch type of thing, but I've always liked the idea of like, especially because of Siege, uh, teamwork, communication, and
Yeah.
like being able to win the round slash game, through all that stuff combined. The biggest thing that put me away from battle royales is like when they were coming out, they were almost always all broken, like not optimized at all,
Mhm.
and it was just a money grab because like people would buy it, and this was around the time when loot boxes and stuff like that were at their peak, where like almost every single video game would want to have it, and seeing PUBG with that when it first came out, especially PUBG, man, the least optimized game ever, turning out to be like one of the biggest shooters just because it's a new like game mode style called BR.
Mhm.
So games like that, I just that pushed me away from battle royales for the longest time up until Warzone came out.
I had a shit ton of fun with Fortnite when it first came out because the way I played Fortnite, and this is how everyone played Fortnite because it was new, was it was a third person shooter. Same idea where you would get like you find a gray gun and then eventually you find a green gun and then you eventually find a legendary gun. Um, and you would use your building as uh getting up hills like okay there's a mountain that I
Getting
can't
two
climb,
locations.
getting two locations, and then okay, hey, there's an enemy that far away. I don't want him to, get me out in the open. I'm gonna build this little base right here to like peek out and try to shoot. Now it's turned into people are fighting next to it, like face to face, building battles and like creating traps inside that building, and it's just I don't like that at all.
Like, what's
Um,
that one video where like the guy takes one shot at the dude and the fort literally
Yeah.
just yep.
Yeah.
Like
That's
fuck
just
that.
not fun.
Yeah.
That's just not fun at all. Like I get it, it's part of the game, but it's not my cup of tea.
yeah, if they made the building a little bit slower, and I think they did that at one update. They tried to do that where like building battles wouldn't be much of a thing, but I think they tossed that out the door real quick because they lost people for it. But if they
Mhm.
made building a little bit slower, where you had to take time to actually, if I put down this wall, I can't put down another wall for like 2 seconds or something,
Mhm.
then it would turn into, okay, I am going to create my base here and make sure I'm not getting caught out in the open from this guy, yada yada, that
Right.
type of thing. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, I do like battle royales, but I think Warzone has ruined it for me. I think Warzone is probably the worst battle royale on paper because of the loadout system. If they brought back, there's a game mode where um, it's like bare bones battle royale where you just drop, find a gun, and whatever guns you have, that's it. If they brought that back, I might enjoy Warzone a lot more.
Yeah, they
But
had that I think only once. That was
for
like
like a
very
week,
early in the game because I remember that's when Zuko first got his PC and jumped onto that with us. Um,
yep.
but yeah, that
And
game mode was
there was
cool as
also
fuck.
no gulag, anything like that. You didn't have a pistol when you're flying in the midair. That's another thing I don't really like. Like I like shooting people out of midair, but I they could get rid of it and I wouldn't bat an eye. I
Mm.
like dropping without any guns. Which then I have a counter to that because one of the reasons why I fucking hate Apex is I will drop on the ground, find a P20,
Not find anything.
find another P2020, and so Apex has there's kind of a method to how you drop. If there's a main area, like let's say Hammond Z, right? Hammond, the loot pool inside Hammond probably has really good loot on the inside of it. There's always going to be a gun. There's always going to be some decent weapons. But then the pills that are outside of the building are kind of the 50-50 chance of what's going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how most of the locations are in Apex. If you land with a bunch of other fucking people and that person runs against the R99 and you're outside and you get the P and you're going around, you're gonna get multiple P2020s, multiple Mozambiques.
Right.
So they're forcing you to drop on the good loot. But sometimes there isn't good loot at all. You'll
Yeah.
drop on a ham and there won't even be a fucking gun. So then, while you're busy fighting all the people who also have P2020s, someone's just gonna third party you with a full kit.
Mm-hmm. And that's
It's that one video where the guy's like fucking I don't know how many loot crates he hits, but he just hits loot crate after loot crate after loot crate, and it's white armor, white, you
yeah.
know, med kits, fucking white armor, white armor. He's like, "Can I get a gun? Okay, can I get a gun? Can I get a gun? Can I get a fucking gun?" And he just starts raging.
Yeah.
So to make that worse, Billy, they a couple seasons ago they made it so you drop already wearing white armor. So when Apex first came out, you didn't have any armor at all, any helmets, any backpacks. You didn't have shit. You were bare bones. Now you drop with a white helmet and I think a white helmet,
Yeah.
a white helmet and a white armor. So him opening that, he already has the white armor from when he dropped. Why do you have white armor in a game where you already wear white armor? I understand, like you
Right.
shield swap, right? You're in the middle of a fight, they break your armor, you can shield swap quickly. Make it
Mhm.
blue. Make it blue.
Make it
Z,
like for an actual reason.
yeah, Z. Do you know that they didn't used to have Evo armor?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how armor used to level up.
Mm-hmm.
So now Billy, armor levels up the more damage you do. So if you do 200 damage, you get blue. If you get 400 damage, you get purple. Whatever. back in the day, they used to have no Evo armor. You would just have white, blue, purple. And then they changed it where you could either choose to have a white Evo shield or all the other armors. Now it's everything's an Evo shield except for gold. Which I do like the Evo system a lot better. I think it's smart because what would happen a lot of the times is, again, based on your drop, you might only get blue armor. Someone dropping somewhere else is getting purple, and they have an advantage off the rip because they got lucky. You could be killing a bunch of people that are also only having blue armor, and you'll be stuck with blue armor for an entire game.
Right.
And that just goes back to my issue with battle royales. It's just like multiplayer games had their fair share of bullshit, whether it's glitches or broken weapon or whatever. But none of that compares to like every single battle royale game out there, where if it's not just one thing that's going to be broken, it's a fuckload of things that are broken, glitched, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a matter if that developer wants to work on it, you know, because especially for a game that's been out for years and they still have certain issues since day one because they just don't want to deal with it. They want to deal with like pumping out the next few skins or whatever to make more money, you know?
Yep.
Right.
That's just
I am grateful that Apex has had very limited issues. Recently there is an exploit / glitch where there's a gun that if you put a thermite grenade into it, it shoots faster. That's how the gun's supposed to operate. People found a way to make it so that permanently does that without having to reload with a thermite. Once that started circulating, Respawn removed both guns from the game entirely. So they're going to fix that. So the only other issues that people complain about with Apex are servers, and then I think maybe audio sometimes. But other than that, Apex is a pretty clean game all around.
It's anti-cheat, right?
I don't think cheating is that bad in Apex. Obviously, we don't play like we're not Preds.
Yeah,
we're
not
not playing
high-level
it.
gamers on there.
But even then, I can't tell you the last time I ran into a cheater on Apex. I can tell you the last time I ran into a cheater on Siege.
Water Warfare.
Last time I played Siege. It's the last time I played Siege. Like, it, yeah.
I'll never
Well,
understand that.
We've actually passed up our usual time, but
I mean, you know, it's been a while.
It's been a while, so you know, it's
Been a while.
kind of necessary.
I should probably give my fiance the room because she has to go to sleep for work
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Tell her no. She's not allowed to
Alright.
sleep.
All right, I'll see how that goes.
All right. Any last words from you guys before you get pewed out of here?
I hope we do this again soon.
Right. Let's not.
Yeah.
Hopefully, wait another month or two.
Right.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, boys. It's nice talking to you again.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Take it easy, guys. Deuces.
Bye.